And we are now recording. So wonderful there. Again, thank you, Laura. And for those who are on board, Laura is our representative from Georgia Tech Research Institute, a proud in-kind donor to STEDTRAIN. Laura, thank you very much. WebEx is one of the things they do for us, and we appreciate GTRI's support.
Thank you. Happy to support.
Okay, great stuff. Good morning for everyone rolling in. Hi, everyone. I've got a few screens going here, so I'm going to be kind of back and forthing. I'm going to reshare some contact information. In case we get disconnected, there are ways for you to reach me. And for those that may not have that, I wanted to share it now. And people like Marty already has that information, has used it well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, we're pretty close to having a full house already. Good stuff. Bear with me. I'm, like I said, working through some setup issues on my end, and I spilled my coffee, so I've got a little cleanup to do. Let's see. And to see if our chat feature works, I'm going to send out a quick reminder. Oh, I just went to Brandi. Oh, sorry, should have gone to everyone. And Ashley, hello. Which, okay, you don't have screen on yet, but good. Glad to see you're on board. Let's see. Did everyone see that text message I just sent?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. Just trying to do the round tripping. And again, thank you, everyone. So, and for those joining us a little bit late, please create yourself, if you don't already have a contact for me with the following information on the screen. And again, the best way to reach me is my company email address, pagarwal@colsa.com. The other ones, and there's an underscore between NASA and docent, so be sure to use that when you add it to your contact information. The reason for that is when I go on site to work on the arsenal, the lower Yahoo address and the mobile capabilities go away. So the only way to reach me when I go on site, and that's 2 or 3 times a week, is basically the P. Agarwal at colsa.com. And that's why I want to make sure you guys all have that in case you need to reach out to me during the upcoming school year. And then you all will have received by now and should have probably recorded Ron Hackett's information. So please, if you haven't done that, look back to some of the emails that went out from him and make sure you have a point of contact set up for him as well. Between the two of us, it'd be the best way to reach out to STEDTRAIN. With that, any questions as we get ready to kick off?
actually have a question about something you said just for a second. I'll turn my video. I'm sorry. Hey, it's good to be back. So we're having cell phone things. What did you say about your cell phone is deactivated when you go on?
Basically, the best way to reach me is my Colsa email address 24/7. When I go out to work, I lose access to my cell phone. I have to lock it up. Where I work requires no personal electronic devices and things like that. And I use my Yahoo email through my phone. So basically, I don't have access to the last two contact points. And that's why the Colsa.com is the best way to reach me. So be sure to have that as a way to reach out to me in case you ever need to reach me.
Okay, that's great information. I have a tutoring session with parents today, and I want to be able, I'm doing more computer science than science this year, and I want to be able to tell them this is real life when we ask your students not to have their phones. And there are some jobs where you cannot have your phone. It's just for safety reasons. So I'm glad I can be able to tell them that today.
Yeah, and the short version is, it's a cell phone is basically a radio, and radio information transferred by radio can be intercepted. And you don't want to set up a situation where, and we'll just call them an adversary. An adversary can use a phone that you're carrying, intercept the communications that are going on with it, and then use whatever information they glean from the phone to some nefarious advantage for them. So where I work, we can't have those devices anywhere near us. We basically go in and lock them up in a different area and then go into work. And that way it keeps, it reduces the ways for our adversaries to steal information from us, basically.
So another plug for cybersecurity.
Big time.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm sorry if that wasted everybody else's time, but I was just I didn't want to forget about that. I made a note, but still I have ADHD like our children and I'll forget. So thank you.
No, that's a good thing. Now, the other thing about it from a school situation, and I understand from an educator, it's got to be annoying and disruptive to have cell phones going off during class and things like that. And then I weigh that concern against the fact that, some kids are latchkey kids and the only way they can connect with families are through cell phones. What do you do in a situation like that?
What do we do? Or
yeah, I mean, you basically ask them to turn them off during school?
Yes, yeah, it's a new policy and for us. They cannot have them on, can't have them they can't have them out on their desk. But of course, you have to think about extraneous situations like kids with type 1 diabetes, and they have the app for their
monitor. Yeah.
Right. And so we have ways around that with a kid having an IHP, which is a federal document. And then they can have them in their backpack. They just have to have them off. And they can't access them during school time. And so they're cracking down on that. Because like you said, with latchkey kids, when they get home, they need to be able to contact their parents. And with those apps like Live 360 or whatever it is, or Find My Friends, parents can locate where their children are. Yep. So that's helpful too. And then, and so before this, I had kids say, "Oh, my mom's texting me." Okay, I know your mom's not texting you, but we can't search the phone. And so I just always said, your mom can call the office. I know that's a little bit extra, but also if your grandmother died, your mom's not going to text you and be like, "Hey, grandma's dead." They're going to call the counselor, and the counselor's going to come talk to you. They're not going to give you that information just through a text message. So I think being with the kids too has helped. But yeah, the latchkey kid thing, I mean, it's an issue. You got to think about all those things. So
yeah, I'm just kind of curious how that is being dealt with. I know there's lots of, ramifications. So very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have any issues? I see most people are successfully on the meeting. Let me kind of go real quickly through the list to make sure we've got everyone we need to have, and then we can maybe kick off early. Okay. I don't see Holy Spirit yet. So we've still got a few more people.
Good
Oh, I'm here.
morning.
Oh,
It's Diane Trout.
sorry. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Paul, I'm here
gotcha.
too.
Okay, awesome,
No,
awesome.
Lynn
Yeah,
McQueen.
didn't have the name. Sorry, Lynn.
That's okay.
I was glancing at names. Whitney, we got, oh, I think we're ready to go. All right. Give me one quick moment and we'll kick off early. Is that okay? Start early and early. I like it. And Bob or Laura, and Minnie, welcome. Any quick updates before we get going? All good? Okay, very good. Let me shut the door to keep the pets from getting crazy. Be right back. Okay. All right, everyone has copied my contact information, yes? I will stop sharing and we will swap to the presentation. Okay, so. Okay, well, hang on, I thought I was going to do it. And all right, everyone see the intro? Yes?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, awesome, awesome. One more quick check here. Really like the idea that we can get off early because that just takes up less of our Saturday morning. And again, for those that may not have heard my initial introduction, the concept today is a quick overview. Let us share what our donors have done to help provide for STEDTRAIN, and then I'll allow the teachers to quickly introduce in a minute or two, basically a quick thumbnail sketch of their proposal work, and so that way the other educators can understand what is happening in the larger STEDTRAIN community, and if there's a possibility of sharing, leveraging another school's ongoing work, all the better. So that's what we're looking for, is a win-win in that regard. So with that, let me jump into today's agenda. We're going to kick off early and we're going to have introductions. Teachers going to talk about their projects. We're going to have a quick final discussion and then we're going to get out of here hopefully before 10:30. All right. So now we're going to talk about what HATS is doing, and I changed the link, so I'm just going to do it manually. So here we go. STEDTRAIN falls under the HATS organization, the Huntsville Association of Technical Societies, www.hats.org. It is a 501(c)(3) that gives us our nonprofit status, and we STEDTRAIN, the STEDTRAIN committee works with them as our umbrella organization. And this year we are celebrating 55 years of the existence of HATS. So kudos to HATS. Its mission was to coordinate the professional, educational, and civic activities of its member organizations. technical societies. And objective is to support the Huntsville area technical professional societies dedicated to the advancements of science and engineering. Good fit. We started off with 7 chapter societies, and we now have 29 and representing more than 18,000 individuals in the greater Huntsville metro area. And we have people from technical, businesses, government, education, and nonprofits. These were the charter members, everything from the Von Braun Astronomical Society all the way up through the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. So good work there. One of the donors that we'll be talking about today is the IEEE Huntsville section, formerly known as the Institute for Electronics and Electrical Engineers. So keep them in mind. They are charter members of HATS, but they are also donors to STEDTRAIN. So kudos to them. These are the board members. I don't know if you run across any of those folks. I'm on there, but if you do run across any of the other peoples, Allison Wren is the current president of HATS and has been for a number of years. Please thank them for the work they do in supporting HATS. HATS is what makes STEDTRAIN possible. And then they have an event to honor professionals each year. They have a society of the year, so members societies can nominate members of their community for the award. We have a Bill Rourke Award, which is a Young Professionals Award, and then the Moquin Award, which is the Professional of the Year Award. These are named for luminaries in the Huntsville technical community. The event this year is the 3rd of October from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Straight to Ale Campus 805 location in the Speakeasy. And for the mere cost of $10, you can come join us. So think about that. And with that, we're going to jump into the regular presentation. And okay, so STEDTRAIN committee. Here's some nice photos. Here's Allison. She's with Torch, and she's also the HATS president. Allison Cash, another Allison. She's with Dynetics and is the treasurer for HATS. Mike Barron, Colonel, retired, PhD. Dr. Mike is the STEDTRAIN chair. Say that quickly. We've worked with him for a number of years. Mike is, I don't think he's on board today. No, he is not. And then of course there's me with Colts Corporation. I'm the vice chair. Ron Hackett, who many of you have already interfaced with, retired electrical engineer, retired U.S. Air Force, and he is our so much appreciated STEDTRAIN website administrator. And he's also the website administrator for the HATS organization. Dr. DeYang is with Lockheed Martin and does some really interesting work. Jane Jones is a retired Huntsville school teacher. Bobby Murphy, retired middle school teacher from Huntsville City Schools and what was called Pope John Paul, actually his full name for Catholic high school here in the Huntsville area. Nanette Odell, retired gifted and special ed teacher for Huntsville Schools. Minnie, who is on board. Minnie, you want to say anything from DMS Technology, a supporter of STEDTRAIN? Opportunity to shine. I see you unmuting, but I don't hear you, Minnie. We'll come back at the end of the meeting. How's that? Laura, are you're still on board? Any good words of wisdom from Georgia Tech Research Institute, Laura? Okay, I believe she's probably moved on to her next meeting. Robin Dama, retired Madison City school teacher and recently became the owner and CEO of South and Pine, a retail store in the Huntsville area. Lori Nelson, and some of you know quite well, probably, retired Huntsville City school teacher. And Terry Brooks, who works with me at the Army Materiel Command, but he works as a government employee. So those are our committee members. We want to give good thoughts to one of our founders, Dr. Philomena Gradska, Andy Setlow, and Woody Williams, all honored members of the STEDTRAIN committee who unfortunately are no longer with us. Donors, this year we want to a big shout out for the Space and Missile Defense Working Group, National Defense. They're part of the National Defense Industrial Association, Tennessee Valley chapter. Their lead, Joe Fitzgerald, said he will not be able to make it today's meeting, but he said, I want to let the educators know that basically the Space and Missile Defense Working Group looks forward to working with you. Keep up the good work. And he looks at STEDTRAIN as a workforce development tool for the greater Huntsville area. You educators help bring in the STEM career-oriented students and propel them into careers that the folks from Space and Missile Defense Working Group can work with down the road. So kudos to Space and Missile Defense Working Group. They're one of our major donors. If you ever should run across Mr. Fitzgerald, he is an amazing person, and please thank him. IEEE Huntsville section, as I mentioned before, a member of HATS and also a donor to STEDTRAIN. And then we talked about the in-kind donors, the Hackett Information Systems. That's Ron Hackett's organization. He's basically retired, and the Hackett Information Systems is pretty much our umbrella IT organization for HATS and STEDTRAIN nowadays. Kudos to Ron. He is traveling. He's had an adventure of the lifetime. He has been up in Alaska, and he will not, I don't think, be able to join us during the meeting today, but he's been having a great time, and he's been supporting, I don't know how he's been doing it. He's been supporting all the preparations with this meeting from Alaska. So kudos to him. And as I mentioned, Laura representing Georgia Tech and their support in kind for STEDTRAIN. Okay, so please add this to your to-do list. I'm giving you a date for our final report meeting at the 26th of April. Each time we meet to have a report, we like to have an interesting speaker. So if you can suggest a speaker that might be of interest to our august group of educators and donors, please let me know. Keep this in mind, something that we would like you to be thinking about. All right, so now let's talk about what has been happening in the 2024-2025 school year. Lynn, talk to us briefly about what you'll be doing with your Mars terrain simulation project.
Unmute. There we go. Good morning,
Yep.
everyone. We are very excited. Last year, we built all the NASA-inspired Lego sets. And as we did that, my students were like, we want to be able to motorize the rovers. And we do a big unit on the Mars trip and such. So we have decided this year that we are going to build a simulation of Mars out in our outdoor classroom, motorize the Lego sets so our students can come out and actually do what NASA did and drive over the terrain and, you know, go through the issues, well, not all the issues, but some of the issues that NASA went through in getting the rovers to Mars and discovering things on Mars. So we're very, very excited about that. We have students that are in 2nd grade up to 7th grade this year. It's a team of 12 students, and we're really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for the award. We appreciate it.
Very good, very good. You mentioned that some of the parents have some of the students' parents have worked with NASA. Do you know if you've worked with anyone named Ron Creel?
Ron Creel. That name sounds familiar.
Well, he worked on the lunar rover. And if you need to have him come by, he, like me, is a NASA docent and works as a guide at the Space and Rocket Center. So he worked on the original lunar rover team, so he might be a great person. He might be a great person to come by. and speak
Yeah, I
to.
would love that information.
Yeah, great. Okay, and then just in general for everyone else, you can always go to the nasa.gov website, and for whatever mission is coming up next, NASA loves to have the public involved in their programs, and you can put your name into a database which is flown on an upcoming mission. So that's how I got my name on the Martian rover. So
Oh, cool.
Perseverance, as Perseverance goes tropping along Mars, my name, along with I think 10 million other names, are embedded on a chip on the Mars rover. So
My students would go crazy for something like that. Yeah.
well, I don't know if it's still open. I think the Europa Clipper, the mission to go to Europa, is they may still be taking names. So go to nasa.gov and look for an upcoming mission that will take your students' names, and something to think about.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep. Congrats. Diane, talk to us about indie speed coding. Can't hear you.
Forgot to unmute myself. Thank you.
There you go.
All right, so we are going to be receiving 16 Sphero Indie robots. Thanks to you guys. We really appreciate it. They are not the Sphere robots that most people think about when they think of Sphero Indie or Sphero robots. They are actually cars, and they're nice and they have rubber on them. So they're perfect for our kindergartners and first graders, and they are coated by rubber tiles that are colorized. And when the cars go over the rubber tiles, they perform different functions. So not only are the students learning what the different functions are, they will be able to code them and do different patterns. So they're learning how to code, but they're also learning about decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, and algorithms. So as we go through the year, once they learn what the different colors mean and how they can manipulate those colors to make the robots do what they would like, my hope is, for example, that we can get the second and third graders to build little cities and mazes, and then get the younger students to code and manipulate the robots through the cities and the mazes. And then once they grasp that, then we can transition to Blockly coding with them. And so there's so many different things that we can do with them to get the basics of coding in the hands of our younger students here at school, because we have a lot for the second and third graders, but for the kindergartners and first graders that struggle with reading, this color coding is going to be amazing for them, especially with that decomposition and pattern recognition. It's going to be wonderful for them. So we really appreciate your support for those younger students.
And thank you for the proposal. It forced me to learn an awful lot about a part of the Sphero world that I wasn't aware of. So I did some research on that one
Okay.
and helping to evaluate it. So
They're
very
pretty
good.
neat.
Yeah, it was very, very instructive. And
Thank you.
Ms. Megan Hockey from Rainbow Elementary in Madison.
Good morning. We're looking at getting Makey-Makeys for our fifth graders so that they can make interactive displays about space or a it's only our second year doing a STEM program, but we see all the students in our school for half an hour a week. And so this is end of their time at elementary school project, and the Makey-Makeys allow them to take the coding that they've learned and make it more interactive. And they'll be making a display for the kindergarten and first graders to help excite them about the STEM program. And so that when they get to be fifth graders, they'll be able to produce a display and show it off to the kindergartners who will be there for them. So it's an interactive program, and the Makey-Makeys take all their coding and make it physical, and it allows them to be more creative with what they're creating.
Fantastic. Look forward to that one. Thank you. Let's go to the next group, and I'll bring up Brandi's little PowerPoint and let her talk to it. Brandi?
Yes, I'm here. Meridianville Middle School is where I'm at and teach 7th grade life science. Our project is tough as a tardigrade. And the request was to help us purchase 5 microscopes. So the microscopes that we have had are around 20 years old. And although we could still use them, they have a lot of issues. They're really expensive to maintain. And they just don't incorporate the new technology that's available. What I found was we typically let kids see the letter E on a piece of paper and they can tell how it's upside down and it's backwards. But what they really want to see is real live stuff. And so tardigrades are a extreme life form, nearly microscopic, that can live in all different kinds of extreme environments. They go into a state called cryptobiosis, which is a living death state when they're in that extreme conditions. So we take them outside on our campus, we scrape lichen and bring that in the classroom. And with that, they will place them in some water and they'll look at it at first and they won't see much. And then they'll place this in water, and about 2 or 3 days later, we'll take some water samples and put it under the microscope, and it's teeming with life. There's over 1,500 species of tardigrades, and so they'll find them. They look like fat little pigs or water bears, and they can count their legs, they can see them. We'll do some research on them, and it really integrates well with life science. And for many of these kids, it's the first time they've ever seen anything microscopic. So the microscopes that I wanted, I saw at NSTA last year, the National Science Conference, and I was just blown away because they really were at a level that I used in college. And we're talking about the affordability to put it in the hands of 11 and 12-year-olds. They're durable, they can be held, and what I love about them is they can be charged. So you plug them in, charge them, and then I could set them all over the place at their actual tables instead of isolated to an outlet. So the portability is amazing. And then they have a feature called light field and dark field, which is pulling light away or putting light on it. And so things that are nearly transparent can glow. And so you're able to see things that are, it's just amazing. And so these kids just really get blown away. I teach 150 kids each year. Our class sizes are increasing every year. This year we're at 35 and 38 in a classroom. There's 3 life science teachers. So you're talking about a lot of kids, and these things are going to last for, prayerfully the next 20 years, like we've had them before. Over that time, with 3 teachers, with these class sizes, you're impacting the lives of 5,000 kids. And it's a legacy that's going to last beyond me. Those microscopes will be there. The other thing that's purchased is something that's very unique called a live slide. So instead of being a flat glass slide that you would think of with a microscope, these are plastic, but they're big and they have channels. The channels lock the water in there, so your living creatures can't escape off the field of view. You keep them kind of contained, and they stay alive much longer. The water doesn't evaporate, and it's just a really, really cool thing, and it's cutting edge technology. So we're super excited to be able to kind of take advantage of this. And now we can have 3 kids to a microscope instead of 6 kids to a microscope, and that's going to make a huge difference. So we really appreciate it, and I can't wait to share with you our activities that will be coming up pretty soon in microscopy.
Fantastic. Any questions real quick? I was fascinated by this proposal. I'll have to admit. I know tardigrades have been in space and have come back resilient. It's crazy what they're capable of dealing with. All right, Whitney, talk to us about what's going on in Madison County Virtual Academy.
Well, we are part of the Madison County school system. So hi, Miss Glenn, we're co-workers. Also, I work at Calhoun in the summers and at night on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and I teach Bio 104, which is looking at tardigrades and moss. So I wanted to tell you this real quick. I don't want to take everybody's time up. Some of my students this summer, my college students found a tardigrade in the pond water that we were looking at in the microscope. So I do have a video of a tardigrade, a little baby water bear. It's so cute. But even these little sorority college girls were oohing and awing over how cute the tardigrade is. And we did some research and we found that tardigrades, their proteins are actually being inserted in human stem cells, and it can prolong the life of or improve the stress tolerance of human cells. So like I said, I'm at the virtual school, so if y'all are ever doing anything nerdy where I could come help out and my principal will let me come help out and be nerdy, I would love to. Or maybe I could even take some of our kids over and
I love it. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm in your system, so I'll find those videos of the tardigrades and I'll email them to you today. So like I said, if I can help out, I'm happy to. So
I love it. This is what this is so good for.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't want to take up too much time, but I know that that's what y'all like for this meeting to be about is collaborating.
Interaction. Yep,
Yes,
interaction.
Yes, sir. But with our school, I have been very fortunate to receive, I think, maybe 3 other grants from STEDTRAIN, and it has really helped build our robotics and computer science program to the point where we had to hire a high school computer science teacher this year. And so she's doing all of the high school, and I get to play with the baby middle schoolers. And I know, I think most of us here are younger student teachers, and I know high school teachers think that that's crazy, but I love the middle schoolers, and so I'm so glad that we have a teacher to take the angsty ones. But I was worried about my kids because they are starting to age out of my program, and they are going now to the high school program. But what I foresaw was we don't have enough materials for our high school program and for the new teacher coming in. So the grant I wrote is for, well, as many of you know, so to walk and graduate in the state of Alabama now, you have to have a college or career readiness credential. And so there are 7 ways I think that you can get that. 2 of those ways are being a technical program completer, so a career tech completer. So there's a pathway of courses that you can take to complete a specific career tech program, or earning a credential through a career tech class. And one of those pathways is the STEM pathway. And there are computer science, the credential for that STEM pathway is a computer science credential with, you have to pass a test, and I think it's Python if I remember correctly. But like I said, I have given those responsibilities to the new teacher, or she's not a new teacher, she's from, well, Sparkman, she's from our system, and she's been doing this for a couple of years. So I now get to pass my babies on to her, and what our grant is going to pay for is 3 robot kits with the Cortex and the controller and batteries, which are very expensive, from the VEX robot systems. And so I teach my middle schoolers the VEX system, and they learn to program through VEX. I've really seen, so our kids are virtual kids, even though we're in the Madison County system, they're virtual, but also they come in, we have a program where they can come in at least twice a week. And then of course they come in for robotics. And so, as you probably will assume, kids who want to do virtual are very shy. They don't interact, especially with adults. I said humans, but they don't interact with adults very well. So I've really seen kids come out of their shell with robotics, because our first full year of competing in robotics, my middle schoolers went to the World Championship competition in Dallas, and to see their worldview expand by talking with kids their age from all over the world. Of course, there was a language barrier, but they learned how to do the Google Translate app, because they do, with the competition, they do have to collaborate with teams on the field, so they get to play different games at the competitions, and so they'll be aligned with at least 4 other teams for at least 4 other rounds of competition. So you have to talk to your aligned team to figure out how you want to. Sorry, I have a 1-year-old golden retriever that's in my lap. I remember Mr. Hackett, the first year, his cat walked across the screen, and he said, it's not a web meeting if you don't see a cat butt. So she's the cat butt of the meeting. But anyway, it was just so great to see my kids talking with other kids from around the world, because hopefully they won't have the mindset of, oh, it's so daunting to think about talking to other people around the world. They'll be open to getting jobs that are worldwide, and that won't be such a thing where they think, oh, I can never do that, because now they have done that. And so I hope now that we have the tools for a high school program, they won't keep leaving me. I've had a couple go to the Alabama School of Cyber Technology and Engineering. I had one go to one of our Catholic schools. So they are leaving me, but I hope now that so I have up to 8th grade, and I hope now that we do have a program for them to matriculate to, that they'll stay with me instead of leaving me to go to magnet programs or a private school. So nothing against those, but they're my babies. I want them to stay with me. So and I am really really thankful for this computer science teacher. I was hesitant about who it would be, but she's going to be great with my little babies. I feel good about giving them to her, because I'm a little I love them. I'm a little territorial of them. I want them in good hands, and they'll be in great hands. So
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
Thank y'all.
And I think we've got a potential collaboration on the tardigrade front.
Yes, I'm so excited. I love tardigrades. So
very, very good. Okay, moving on to group 3. Teresa, talk to us about custom coding. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I was trying to find my unmute button.
Okay, there you are.
So going back to the Sphero world, yeah, there's a lot to offer, and they keep adding more and more every year. So, and they've got a lot of curriculum that goes along with it. So I saw one of the elementary school teachers using it. That's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I teach information technology. It's kind of a new program. So we're doing a lot of different things, programming, hardware. You guys helped us out last year with the virtual PC building simulator, which was awesome, and the VR goggles. So this year we're going to add kits from Spheros that are designed to incorporate hardware with programming. So they come with a lot of really cool stuff, sliders and sensors and beepers and lights. And so kids can basically program what they want the hardware to do. There's a lot of different games they can code with it, like, make a buzzer sound if you touch a certain sensor and do different things. I got one in last year, and I've played around with it a little bit, but not very much. So hopefully when we get these in, I can get some good kids to play around with it. And plus Sphero has curriculum that goes with it that you can follow. So we do a robotics unit. So we do the programming with the robots, but I think most kids know about programming and robots, but what they don't grasp is programming is in everything. Like every piece of hardware that we have now, refrigerators, cars, everything has programming behind it, agricultural equipment, you name it, there's programming. So I'm trying to get the kids to understand that it's not just, video games and robots. It's everything. So that's why it's important that, they learn how to code, the job opportunities and the research opportunities that there are. So we're really trying to connect that physical world with the abstract world of programming. So hopefully this will add another layer to that. So that's what we're going to do. I think we're able to get 5 or 6 kits with your donation. And once again, thank you for your donations, because the STEM stuff is expensive. And especially like Brandi was saying, when you get a class of 30, 35,
Oh, yes.
you got 5 kits, you got 6 kids on a kit. And sometimes that's hard because not everybody gets to, get their hands really on it. So the more that you can get, you can have more kids using it. And the other thing I'm going to start doing with a lot of the stuff that you guys have been giving us funds for is my librarian is awesome. She's putting a lot of STEM stuff. Think of makerspace as an elementary school. Well, our librarian is making a makerspace for the high schoolers, which I think is awesome. So when I'm using my materials, I'm putting it in the library for, the kid, anybody in the school to use. So I've already given her, a couple of my RVRs, my Spheros, and I'll probably put a couple of these kits in the library when I'm not using them. So that way it's not just my classroom, but, anybody that wants to go in there and get their hands into STEM. I think that's an awesome thing that she's adding to our school. So
Yeah, it's sort of like a resource lounge. That's neat.
yeah, it is. It is. And she's making it comfortable. There's comfortable chairs and she's got rugs, and we actually got a grant from TVA. So we've set up a VR lab and we're just now getting it up and running, but there's 12 VR goggles in there that teachers can bring their class or students can just come and use. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
Teachers, did you hear that? Grant from TVA. Think about that. Talk to Teresa.
Yeah, it was a great program. It was $10,000 that they gave us, and
Woo.
school got an upgrade grant for $200,000 for new LED lights. So it's a really good.
Fantastic.
It's a year-long program, but it's an awesome program that they have. So, and once you go through it, the $10,000 is guaranteed. Give you up to $25,000. So
That's
start
fantastic.
that. Yeah.
And I believe all of the schools involved with STEDTRAIN could probably eligible since they're in the Tennessee Valley. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And the whole program is called the TVA Uplift Program, but it's through the school year trying to make your school more energy efficient. So, and the kids get to learn about energy efficiency. We learned about, alternative power and things like that. Stuff off when you leave, the room, things like that. And they're really, and TVA is fantastic about helping, and they're really awesome at it. So, but it's a good program. I think they take applications, but last year they had 700 schools. So it's real, I don't want to say easy to do, but they'll usually take one per county in the spring, and then you do it the next year. So it's a great program.
Very interesting. Well, as a former Tennessee Valley Authority engineering co-op student, kudos to them. That's
great.
It
was great. It was.
That I'm really happy to hear that. That's amazing.
So when you guys come visit, I'll show you the lab. So
okay, great stuff. Excuse me. And thank you very much. Marty, talk to us about what's going on in Lincoln County.
Hey, good morning. First of all, TVA, their current grant for $5,000 window closes September 15th because I'm in the process of trying to finish mine up too.
Okay.
Just a couple things. Thanks to STEDTRAIN, we were able to add, being with them for years, we were able to add more teams last year. Well, those teams have moved up to the high school level, so we are adding an additional high school team this year with the help of STEDTRAIN. And I'm going to kind of go off course. Yeah, you guys have been fantastic with our robotics. I'm seeing Vex, and I'm going to jump over Monica. Her team 34 helped us out at competition last year, and we really appreciate them too for first. So we're getting our kids out in the robotics world. But one of the things that really means a lot more to me is seeing where our kids are going in the future. And I want to take a second and thank you, Paul, for working with Wyatt and opening the door for an internship for him I think it's a year earlier than you would normally do internships with Colsa, but he enjoyed himself so much, I believe he's continued on with Colsa after the internship. And
Oh,
he's really
great.
enjoying it. So he is still
Awesome.
employed by Colsa. But those kind of
That's a
opportunities-
robotics to workforce opportunity. That's STEM education resulting in a workforce development thing. And kudos to your program.
Well, that's it. They have done fantastic. And Paul's also been coming out and he helps us get our kids ready for judging. And my kids are not afraid to get out there and talk to adults or anything. They just jump on it because of the training they're getting in our program with the help of STEDTRAIN. I think we've been with you for 4 or 5 years now. And everything that we've got right from the very first grant we got from you is still in use in the building and in our program, minus maybe a motor or two because they get worn and torn after time. But we are making good use of everything and utilizing the people that are involved in STEDTRAIN like you. It's like we appreciate knowing that it's not just items, it's people behind the items that we can utilize. And like you said, like Monica, having her kids come over and help ours. We had a whole first year team of kids at First Robotics last year, and her team 34 came over and helped my kids. And I really appreciate just knowing that we are all out there working together. We look forward to another great year, and keep those VEX kids going to Worlds. I'm with you on that. 2 years straight we've been at Worlds. Last year we took a middle school all-girls team, first year all-girls team to Worlds, and these kids are just fantastic. As a matter of fact, those are some of the kids feeding into my new high school team. So we really appreciate it, and we're gonna keep going strong.
Well, again, great work. Thank you for the invitation. She put me to work. I was there for an evaluation of her program, and she sat me down and said, okay, you need to judge how these middle school kids are doing, and she put me right to work. So kudos.
You did great.
They did
them a
great.
lot,
They
too.
did great. I was just watching. And for Monica, we'll have Ashley Southard. Did I pronounce that properly?
It's Southard, but close enough.
One more time.
Southard.
Okay.
Southard, yeah.
She's going to fill in for Monica, who's traveling today. But she's worked with Monica for quite a while on the program, and I believe currently serves as the team mentor. Is that correct?
That is correct. I am our team's multimedia mentor. I've known Monica. She was my gifted teacher in high school. I did robotics with her and went to college and came back and helped mentor, and still doing that now. So.
Wow. So tell us about your program.
Yeah, so Team 34 is structural robotics team up in Limestone County. We are with the Limestone County Career Tech Center, but students at all of the schools within Limestone County are eligible to join. So Athens, Elkmont, our county and city schools. But one of the things that we really love about this program is not just the competition aspect, it's the students get the hands-on experience, learning to code, learning to build, learning to work with, the industry-leading tools that they can take with them. We had a student a couple of years ago, straight out of high school, went to work for Lockheed Martin doing wiring and controls. So, but yeah, this is our third year receiving a grant from STEDTRAIN, so we cannot thank you enough. It allows us to buy the parts that we need to, keep the robot running, so we can not only take it to competition. We were lucky enough to take it to Worlds this past spring in Houston, and not just the competition season. That's super important for us to be able to compete in, but we also do a lot of off-season work with demonstrations, community service, and so this grant really lets us do that with getting the parts that we need to have that robot running in the summer. As I'm sure Marty can also attest to, First Robotics is really rough on the robots. You're lucky to have a working robot when you come back. It's not BattleBots, but it's rough. It's rough. Especially when you go to Worlds. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's a very different environment, but yeah, that's our hope with this grant is not just to, have our team of 30 students learn how to do something. It's to have that team of 30 students go on and show 30 more students how to do something, or other teams like Marty's how to, help them do something. If we've got extra, we're happy to share it. And if there's other schools within our network that we're able to go out and help, that's what we want to do. So
Fantastic. And thank you for helping fill in for Monica, who I understand has got a family issue trip going on.
Trip, yeah. Our school just started back for us beginning of August, so she's probably trying to keep her head on straight. So
that's right. Well, again, thank you for that. And this is our opportunity now that we've heard what each of the schools is working for the upcoming school year. In the past, when we had in-person meetings, this is when we'd all sit around the dessert table, sample what was there as far as desserts and talk. So this is our virtual dessert table. Are there any questions or things that we would like to talk with the other teachers while we've got you all together? I let you guys sound off.
So Paul, I went onto the NASA website while we were talking here. Is there a place I can find Ron Creel's information?
You probably won't be able to find him through that. Let me reach out to you. Let me first talk to Ron to see if he's able. He's not as spry as he used to be.
Neither am I.
Yeah. But yeah, let me reach out to you directly to see if Ron would be able to come out to the school, or if you guys could meet up with him somewhere. But again, he worked the thermal protections for the lunar rover and the lunar module back in the 60s as I believe a mechanical engineer. And he also worked when Polaris built a replica of the lunar rover with Polaris materials a few years back. So if Ron isn't able to meet with you, maybe some of the people from Polaris who worked on a replica of the lunar rover might be candidates to speak with you. So I'll take a note to talk, get back with you about someone to talk to you about rovers.
Great, thanks.
Okay, any other questions or thoughts? Thank you all for giving us part of your Saturday morning.
I just want to do an open invitation. If you're doing Vex Robotics, and I heard of Vex down in Madison County Virtual, I believe.
Academy, yep.
Okay, we have in Lincoln County, right across the state line, we do have a regulation playing field, and we have 6 teams if you want to come up and spar. So just contact me and we'll set something up.
Yeah, that would be so fun. Unfortunately, the lady who took over the high school is having a baby in November. So this being her first year, and her first year as a mom, or like 0.5 of a mom and then mom, she's not having a team, but I actually ordered a field for her. We'll probably keep our field, but I have the field extras. We're not going to use it. Is there any way I could get with you and give those to you if you would like them? Would you like an extra field component set?
We need to work on doing a competition between the two of us for this area. That'd be a great fundraiser on top of everything else. But let's plan on getting together, and even if you want to bring some kids up to see the field or just kind of tour it, we've got a decent building with everything set up. So
yeah,
it might be fun. Just let them come on up.
That would be so cool, and I can bring you those field components that we're not going to use. And then I've actually talked to one of our tech people at the central office, she actually asked me what my ideas are for a grant that she has
Mhm.
coming up. And I told her I want to host a VEX competition.
Oh,
So
we need to. And
yeah, yeah.
with where you're located, I've taken kids down and we've competed in Alabama. But if you want to work together at a fundraiser and put one up here in Tennessee, we can put it under the Tennessee guidelines. Both make good money. There is nothing in our area unless you go up to Nashville. And then Brentwood is like, they kill every year. So our goal is to beat them every year. But we would love to do something down in our area, and we've got the place to do it. We just need more hands on deck.
Okay, well, we don't have the place to do it, so I
That'd
can
be perfect
definitely
then.
be a hands on deck. So
Let's plan on getting together. I'll pop my phone number in the thing. I'm actually right-handed, so give me a second to type this in.
yeah.
I'll put my phone number in there.
Okay, thank you. And I think I saw you at the torch thing a couple years ago. We were beside you with the torch thing. So
Yep.
it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
Even
you as well. Let me see.
are y'all
My
having?
name- I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna, while you were typing, I was gonna ask Dr. Agarwal, are y'all having another torch where we went and showcased the supplies we had received from STEDTRAIN? Are y'all having anything like that this year where we can help y'all out?
At this point, uncertain, wait and see.
Can I jump in there for a sec? I'm also a certified barbecue judge, and I judge at Whistle Stop, which is where we presented stuff before. And they're over at, was it Mid City now? And they have a big deal going on there, but that may be something, I think maybe I3 Harris was involved in that. But that may be something to see if we could set up a booth there, because there's a lot of your big companies throughout Huntsville that are participating in Whistle Stop now.
Okay, yeah, that's where I saw you, so I will look into that as well. But yeah,
I would like to put in a plug for the GEMS program. This is Brandi over at Meridianville. So every year, and I'm sorry, Tennessee, this is an Alabama thing.
No, we've
But
sent kids to you.
sorry, but every year in Alabama, AMSTI with the State Department host the GEMS program. This is for middle school and high school. I don't think there's an elementary level of this, but GEMS is girls engaged in math and science. And what you do is you get a girls team, and this is across any discipline of math and science and technology and any kind of thing. Everything we're doing applies, everything that's been talked about. And they put together a little application of this is what we're doing. So for mine, I'll have a team look at these tardigrades with the microscopes. They'll put together a little proposal. Hey, we want to do this. And it's not really competition. They just get selected or not selected to attend. And then they host a table, and the table just demonstrates what they've learned. And so you spend some time with them outside of your class, either in the afternoon or on a weekend, a little bit before, and then they go to this expo, and they'll host the expo at places like the Cook's Natural Museum or Hudson Alpha or something like that from all over the region. They'll do it in 5 regions in the state, and we have them up here in North Alabama. They host their table. They'll have a keynote speaker by a female scientist or engineer or technology individual, and they'll speak, and then they'll do some hands-on activity. Last year we dissected squid over at Cook's Museum, and they're just it's not really competitive, but man, the leadership, teamwork, and speaking and getting to meet other girls, this will be the 3rd year that, prayerfully we get selected to go. And it's just a small team of under 10 people, girls, and it's phenomenal. They'll pay you a little stipend to offset your expenses, but I have been taking my STEDTRAIN, whatever I get on STEDTRAIN, and focusing that at the GEMS program. And so last year, it's wonderful, and it's just keep track of the AmSty stuff that's out there. It's published online. There's a lot of things that get out there, but I'll be glad just to share it out with, if I can have an email group. It happens every year over the winter, and then the expo is usually in like February. But it's great.
Is
And
it only
then
open to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Is it
No,
only
you're
open
good.
to public schools? Because AmSty is not open to private schools.
Yeah. I guess probably, but I would share the information anyway, and maybe, you could look into it. But it's a great program.
Yeah, the little girl that leads my Lego space team is in 6th grade, and I think we could start something like that if it's open. Holy Spirit's a private school, so
Yeah. I'm not sure, since it is sponsored by AmSty. I know it's the public schools like big push to engage girls
okay.
in that. So, and it is at 6 through 12. They don't have as many high schoolers that actually participate in it as they do 6th through 8th graders. So my girls have moved on from my school from the last couple of years that did it for 2 years running, that are now at Teresa's school at Hazel Green. I happen to know their biology teacher a little well, so I'm pushing him to host a girls team.
Go girl. I love it.
I'm hoping, I know they take younger girls too, so I'm hoping to take a 3rd grade team for the first time this year. I talked to my principal at the end of beginning of the
Great.
year, and she said, once school settles down at the beginning of the year, she said, come back to me.
Yeah, and it doesn't really ramp up until maybe like November-ish. So it gives
Yeah.
us time to settle in. If I'm pretty experienced with it, so if anybody does, I'll be glad to. It's easy to
Okay.
get in and to be selected. It really is.
She's wanting to, she's real, I hate saying this to this group, but she's really big into the reading. So I really have to push for any science stuff at school, which I totally do. So she would like for us to, she did say she'd like for us to meet after school, which I'd be fine with. So I'm hoping to take a group or two of 3rd grade students to the Cooks Museum one. So I'm really, really going to try for the first time this year, because I think we have some girls that would really enjoy doing it, and they'd really do awesome at it. So
Yeah,
hopefully
it's a
I'll see
different
you there.
location every year, so it won't be at Cook's this year.
Okay. Well, it could be
It'll still be
exciting.
somewhere cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, cool.
Fantastic interaction. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or things that we need to talk to? If not, again, put this in your save the date. End of April is when our final reports are going to be due. Just a reminder, we have a midterm report due, I believe it's in January timeframe. And then we have the final report where we get together like this and kind of report the results of what we intended to do, how it worked, and how the students gained. So put the 26th of April on your calendars. And then we will be getting, STEDTRAIN committee will be getting back to each of you. You'll be assigned a committee member to work with you during the school year to hopefully help work out any bumps in the road, and to schedule the time to come on site to see how the students are benefiting from the program. With that, I will look to close unless there's any other final words or thoughts. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And thank you for taking some time to talk about your work, and congratulations, all of you. We're really, really impressed. We look forward to seeing how this all develops. Oh, one final thing. Get back to me directly if any of you know of any budding high school aged chemistry interested student. We may have some opportunities for them down the road. So if you are aware of a chemistry oriented student, male, female student, we don't care, we're looking to possibly provide a special opportunity for them. So get back with me. We have a third party that might be interested. So keep me posted, and congratulations, all of you. Great work. That's it here. I'm signing off. Take care.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. This year is excellent program. Thank you.
You're back, Money. Good.
Now I'm
Congrats.
there. I'm listening to everything.
Well, I know you were listening. We just didn't hear you earlier.
No, it's excellent. All these 10 proposals are really good, really good. I mean, they are all very competitive, and
I couldn't agree more. Congratulations. The teachers, you have stepped up.
yeah,
Really happy to give them an opportunity to talk with each other. I think it's going to be a win-win for everyone. Take care, all. Signing off.
Thank you so much.